Alright, so honestly, I was not expecting to make this video. I wasn't even thinking about making a Kingdom Hearts video today. But when it comes down to it though, I originally was going to talk about Crunchyroll and how they're making a manga app and how it's just once again showing how much of a monopoly Sony just has over anime and manga now and how shitty it is. It's also funny kind of thinking about it because it's like, how the hell do you have, like Japan suffering through like a lot of credit card payment processor nonsense, having their sites taken down, but ultimately Crunchyroll is going to be fine and no one bothers them for any reason. Again, there is a lot of racism at play here, but we're not going to necessarily talk about that. I do want to talk about Kingdom Hearts a bit, and just the bum weight that we had to deal with, like, with Cage 4. Can I be real for 5 seconds? I hardly talk about Kingdom Hearts on this channel, mainly because they never really do good video-wise. But when it comes down to it though, it is still my favorite video game series of all time. It is by far the one video game of all the video games that I've been waiting on for the most when it comes down to story. And to keep it very much a stack, dear gosh, does it take 5 million years to get one single game now, right? That's literally how it feels. Anytime Kingdom Hearts comes through, I'm excited. I'm always here for it. But it has gone into a downhill slope for me and for a lot of other people that's been waiting on the next game to come through, right? Because as you probably may know if you've been paying attention to Kingdom Hearts whatsoever, you would know that, things like Missing Link has gone cancelled, Dark Road is basically done, and, it's not even on the App Store anymore. Then, when it comes down to the weight of Cage 4, it's looking like the Kingdom Hearts 3 weight, and it's not necessarily that good, right? You would imagine after the long-awaited Cage 3 coming through, having your opinions about it whatsoever of what it might be for you, and essentially that long wait has finally come to a conclusion, you would think Square would have learned the lesson of, okay, let's not go ahead and showcase a game so early, let's not necessarily try to, get people to wait for so dang long, and ultimately let's get people the game that they've been wanting to see. And yet they still go through the same thing method of just waiting 5,000 years to showcase anything, right? I understand Kingdom Hearts is a different game than most video games that's out there. It obviously incorporates two different companies, and obviously the one company is very much going to want their characters to look very good and very proper and pristine, and they're going to do everything to make the worlds of those places and characters to look very good, proper and pristine, and all that sort of stuff. And I understand that. I'm not getting mad about something like that, right? I understand it takes time to get that right. However, I am annoyed when you basically have this one game that basically everybody's waiting on, and it takes more than 3 to 4 years for it to pop through. It's about to be 6 damn years. Technically speaking, if we're really going to talk about it, when it comes down to the development of Cage 4, until we see anything of it, right? It's crazy. The only thing we have gotten in the time of all the 6 years is obviously its announcement way back when, and then only this year we got screenshots of what ended up happening, and that's solely because of freaking Missing Link gone missing for real. And it's so crazy, honestly, right? It's just like, damn, I am not here to just sit here and wait for basically one game to come through. And granted, you gotta really think about this too. In the Square Enix pipeline of really major games, if we're gonna be real, between Kingdom Hearts 3 and now, you had Final Fantasy VII Part 1 remake, you had Final Fantasy 16 to come through, and then you had Final Fantasy 7 Part 2 remake come through, which is Rebirth. And it's just like, bro, y'all gave us 3 whole different games of FF somewhere, and then you can't give us just 1 gram of Kingdom Hearts? You can't give us 1 sugar coating of Kingdom Hearts 4? You can't just go to the bakery, give us a sourdough bread, throw that shit on the ground because no one likes that shit, get the whole ass Italian bread of Kingdom Hearts 4? Why? Why does it take so long, right? This is one of those moments where it's like, damn, this over-bloatedness of video game development sucks a lot of ass. Granted, we did know that obviously Square said that was gonna wait a good minute to kind of, you know, get anything out there, like with the whole reboot and rebirth sort of phase their company, trying to reset everything and refocus their ideas. And I get that, right? We're basically at the, I think at the end of that sort of like phase of the company. But dear goodness, they need to show something. I would imagine TGS, Tokyo Game Show, would have been the one place where they would have kind of went ham on it, but they didn't. And, or at least so far, they haven't shown anything. So, who the hell knows? So the only place that we're really looking at is something like the Game Awards, honestly. Because any other place doesn't really feel like a place that's worth throwing back Kingdom Hearts in a major way to kind of just showcase that, hey, the game does exist, right? The only other pieces of information that we have had recently about the game that it exists is really with interviews with, you know, Nomura coming through, which has not been many. It has not been many. It's been more about Final Fantasy VII Part 3 and how hyped that game is going to be and how crazy the stuff is going to be for that game and development going good for that game. And then the only gram of Cage 4 weed that we have received is basically just, oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts is, you know, going along schedule. And that's it. That is literally all we have heard about Cage 4, and that is it. There is so many questions. Really, there's been questions since the damn concert that happened a long time ago, when people was like, when I think Nomura came on stage and was like, oh yeah, something happened that changes the Kingdom Hearts series as a whole from this point forward. And literally everybody was stunned as hell. Even people behind the scenes that usually know him is stunned as hell, not knowing what the hell's going on about the damn series. My point is, I am mad bored, or at least I would be mad bored if Kingdom Hearts, you know, if I had to wait on it just solely for a new Kingdom Hearts game. I would be bored out of my mind waiting for this damn game to come through. And that's just genuinely how it is. To be honest, there's not a lot of games before, you know, things of the free-to-play came through that I would sit down and play consistently. Like, there's not many times and chances for me to go buy new games and stuff like that, as you would pretty much know if you was in the Discord, because we went over this discussion, which, you know, again, Kofi is right there, help donate, not just for games, but for survival of life. But when it comes down to it, though, it is just very much annoying, because, you know, there's not many games I got to really sit here and play, and I beat most of the games that I have, and it's just not really a fun time to go back over the same games that you already beaten. It just isn't, right? That's why, you know, and people be like, you know, I don't really like Genshin and all that stuff that much. That's why I'm at least appreciative of it existing, because if I didn't have, you know, Kingdom Hearts, I'll be bored out of my mind. At least there's things like Genshin that is existing for me to get invested to another story of a game to really care about, right? At least there's something like ZZZ to kind of exist in the boundaries of just playing something as I pass the time, right? At least there is other free-to-play games when there weren't any before. Now there's like a shit ton of free-to-play games that's finna come out and is out already that you just sink your teeth into, enjoy the story of, and not necessarily worry too much about, alright, when's the next Kingdom Hearts game coming out? And you know what? I'm just like, you know, it's fine. Take your time. I still want it. I still want it bad. But also, I'm enjoying, you know, things like Genshin, ZZZ. If Ananta was out, I'll be enjoying that game. Neverness to Everness, whenever that comes out. You know, I'll be very much enjoying my time with those games, and I'm not really stressing that hard about Kingdom Hearts as I usually would. I still want to see what the game can do and just see what the game is, but I'm also like bogged into all these other free-to-plays where it's like, alright, I'm curious to see where we can go with that. But even though I am bogged down with like all these other games that I really want to play and enjoy my time playing, at the end of the day, it shouldn't still take this long for a new Kingdom Hearts game to come out. I'm sorry, that is just how it is. I really think the most Kingdom Hearts 4 should be developed in time for a release should be no more than 3 to 4 years. That's it. I feel like going on past to this 6-year, you know, time frame that we're on currently is crazy to me. To be honest, and I'll be real with you, Square, I know how people feel about it, but Square Enix is like literally the last gaming company I really care a lot about when it comes down to an ongoing game or just games that they can make, right? Whether it's a FF or whether it is, Kingdom Hearts, and more so Kingdom Hearts than anything, it is the one game series that I still really very much care about in a traditional video game sort of sense. Other than that, I'm pretty much on the free-to-play train for the most damn part, not really giving a damn about most of anything, unless it's like an old game I didn't play in the past and maybe I want to give it a try. But ultimately, that's just kind of where I am at this point. I'm not really waiting on any type of new Dark Souls type game. I'm not really waiting on any sort of action game or anything like that. No GTA for me personally, because I'm not really that over the moon for GTA. Granted, we haven't seen much of the GTA 6, so I can't really say what I'm looking for when it comes down to it. Plus, with how weird Western stuff has been recently, it's kind of hard to tell, what that GTA is going to actually provide. That's why people are excited for it now, because at least you get to do, the same things, but in an anime aesthetic to a point, So there is things to be, looking at when it comes down to it. Right? But obviously, the main game, I would say, of all the video games that exist out there that I'm very much wanting to play is something along the lines of a Kingdom Hearts, right? It is very much Kingdom Hearts, really, in a nutshell when it comes down to it. And the fact that, again, that shit has taken so damn long, and I don't know why Kingdom Hearts consistently is like this, why they have to go through so much shit just to get one damn game out. I don't get it. But it's very much always been like this, right? It's like it's Square Enix's black sheep for whatever reason. Even though Dragon Quest is right there to be the ultimate black sheep, because boys in Dragon Quest been starving. But it's just like, damn, that whole wait for Kingdom Hearts has just been hell for me personally. It's never been really a good time whatsoever, and it's just like, damn, when the hell is this game coming out? What is the time frame looking like? Right? I'll accept a slight tease. I'll accept, honestly, you could literally just post a video of maybe like a Keyblade stuck in the ground somewhere and just be like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 4 and it has that high definition KH4-ness or something like that. I would take that versus not getting anything, right? And it's crazy when, unfortunately, when you don't get any news about that game in particular, and you have to look at YouTubers like a Gamer's Joint to kind of come through and explain to the community, hey, this is why the game is taking so long, just be patient, we gotta wait, and all this sort of stuff. I shouldn't, and no offense to the Gamer's Joint, I love the Gamer's Joint. He's the reason why I watch a lot of KH4 news outside of HMK. But when it comes down to it though, it's like, bro, it shouldn't take a YouTuber to come through to explain a company's actions or why things are taking so long, when the company themselves should be saying something themselves to the people, right? That's just how I feel. At least do a small Q&A that you can possibly give answers to, that's not necessarily going to be just a wait and see sort of approaches to the question and stuff like that. At least get people amped up in a way, right? It's just a lot. It just is a lot. Final Fantasy Part 3, I'm not really worried too much about, because people have talked, again, behind the scenes, across the board, from the east to the west, about that game, what's it going to pertain, and stuff like that. Plus, it's a game that you can already kind of picture in your head how it's going to be, because it's literally just rehashing what original FF7 has done, so it's not necessarily going to be a giant surprise outside of the little mixes they'll add into this version of Final Fantasy 7. That's literally the only thing you have to worry about when it comes down to what's new, what's going to happen there, and all that sort of stuff when it comes down to things like Zack or Aerith or whatever, and how they're going to be integrated into this very last part. Pretty much in the Final Fantasy space, you know how FF7 ends, right? Or where it could lead into. Kingdom Hearts, we don't know shit. We don't even know who's going to be in our party in the next game, right? Is it Donald and Goofy? Or is it going to be Sterlitia and Yozora? Or whoever the hell else could it possibly be? Could it be the fact that, we going to actually get, what type of in-game new mechanics that we're going to run with the whole rebuild mode or whatever the hell, Sora's going to be able to use in this next game or whatever the hell, right? We don't even know if Donald and Goofy will go into Quadratum and they look like an actual real dog and duck. We don't necessarily know. We don't even know like what the actual like game truthfully looks like outside of screenshots. We haven't seen the game in motion truthfully because the first trailer was in Unreal Engine 4. We don't even know what it looks like in Unreal Engine 5 to a high definition of a look of anything, right? We literally don't know. We don't even know what type of worlds is going to be involved into the game. Nothing. We don't know how world travel is going to be. Is it going to be by gummy ship or some new mechanic? We just don't literally know. So you get my point? It's like there is so much information about FF7 and, you know, all of the stuff for part 3, but then literally zero of anything when it comes down to Kingdom Hearts 4 as a whole. And I get why some people are gonna get mad and be absolutely frustrated when it comes down to if Final Fantasy VII Part 3 shows up at any event and, you know, they tease anything at all and say there's a hype train for it already going. Like, people would be very much upset when it comes down to it, and I understand why, because that game already had like 2 other games ahead of Kingdom Hearts, and it's like if you add another one on top of that, yeah, I get it. People will be pretty damn pissed off, and I don't blame them for that, right? So that's just ultimately how it is. My point is, when it comes down to it, video game development takes way too damn long. It should not take this damn long to the point where we have to wait 5,000 million years just to see if something comes through or not, and it's absolutely effing ridiculous. I don't get it. I cannot possibly understand why it's like this, right? I get it. Disney and Square, they're 2 different companies. They want their characters to look good. I get that. But ultimately, it should not take this much effort to make a game to come through and just do what it needs to do. Kingdom Hearts has always been in development hell, and whatever project it kind of goes into in this modern day and age, I don't get why, but it always been like this, and I really wish Square would just put some manpower actually within, you know, Kingdom Hearts' position of what they need to do, so they can actually, like, you know, get these games out a bit more done and better and utilize way more better than what we currently absolutely get. This is easily the driest season of information for Gage, just entirely, and it's ass. It genuinely is. But that's basically what I wanted to say for this one. I just want to basically express frustration about Kingdom Hearts, because again, it's like, yeah, all these other good games to come through, all these dope ass free to play games that's potentially going to come through and have a good time, but then it's like when you're looking for that one game to really come out that you're really hoping for that ain't dead somewhere in a ditch somewhere, and it's like you don't hear anything about it. It's like, where the hell is it, right? Again, I'd rather them take their time on a game and make it actually good and do what they need to do, but they also need to provide something with it, right? Because it's going to be like Kingdom Hearts 3 all over again, where people had expectations out the moon, and then when the game comes out, of course people are going to be disappointed or feel some type of disappointment in the game, because people had expectations for years, and then it didn't meet up to those expectations. That is really ridiculous, but you blame people because it's been a long ass wait, and it's starting to get to that point too with KH4, and it shouldn't be like that. But that's really what I want to say for this one, so hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also follow my socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Crashout is available as well. And that's it, this is your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.